and we put a stop to it to the extent that we sued them because we did not believe that was in the public's best interest. But we then entered into negotiations with Lyft and their lawyers, which, by the way, Uber does not have on this case. We entered into negotiations with Lyft. We worked with them. We've gotten to a point where they have a set of regulations that, although it's not exactly what they want, it's not exactly what we want either, and it's fine, and we'll go forward. Z-Trip is already registered. But when it comes to Uber, the refrain that we have heard from them consistently is, we will not accept any of this. Nothing. Why can't we do background checks? We want to do background checks, we said to Uber. No, we're not going to let you do background checks. Okay, how about this? How about you do the background checks, use your people, and give us the background checks so that we can look over them? No, we're not going to do that. How about this? Why don't you do the background checks, give them to your drivers, and then the drivers can give them to us? No, we're not going to do that at all. Why can't we see the background checks on the people driving cars in this city who are picking up citizens in this city? Because it's a matter of privacy, they say. Well, it's not a matter of privacy to get a license and to put people in your car and put your name and your face on the receipt when you send it to them by email. It's not a matter of privacy. And the reason that we're keen on background checks is that we are very much aware of the issues that this operator and others have had across the country from drivers who they supposedly had a background check on, but somehow they drop off the fare at the airport and then go back to the fare's house and break into the house. Or they have a felon who had been in federal prison for murder, gets out, their background check is applied to him, and then he's driving an Uber cab and is now arrested and accused of rape. Or the lawsuit against them in Seattle, or the lawsuit against them in San Francisco, or the lawsuit against them in LA, or the fact that Hawaii won't do this, the fact that Kansas won't do this, Germany won't do this, France won't do this, Italy won't do this, London won't do this, St. Louis won't do this. The reason that nobody wants to do this is because we have no one who is willing to actually negotiate. The negotiation is, we will talk to you, we will tell you what you want to hear, and we'll walk out the door, and at the end we'll come back and say, we can't agree to that. We can't agree to any of that. So we're not negotiating, we're talking to ourselves. When this first started, the idea that I heard is that it's too expensive for the drivers. And you know what? We sat around, we talked about that, and you said, you know what, that might be right. It was at $330-something. And we said, that's too high. You know what it is now? $100. Is that acceptable? No. Nothing's acceptable. There is no desire to slow down the innovative entrepreneurial spirit of this city. Absolutely 100% not. And any of you guys, any of these people who are out there sending out emails saying something to the contrary really needs to get a hold of the facts. The fact of the matter is, we have a responsibility that we swore to uphold when we were elected and raised our hand and swore to do our job. And one of the very first things that we have to do is to ensure the public safety. Now, when we know that the background checks that are being used are not stopping murderers and rapists and people breaking into houses, how do we simply say, oh, gee, you don't need a background check? Don't worry about it. There's ways to work this out. But here's the real thing that's